Hello, welcome to News Now on TV360. I am Fidelia Aguncha. Pro-democracy activists have been marking the 19th anniversary of the death of late Moshood Kashimawo Abiola, popularly known as MKO Abiola, the acclaimed winner of the annulled June 12, 1993 presidential election in Nigeria, died in the custody of the military regime in the country at the time, after he was arrested on charges of declaring himself president. Family and friends joined the pro-democracy activists at his residence in Lagos, Nigeria Southwest region to remember him today. Of pro-democratic activists and his die-hard supporters. MKO Abiola died on the 7th of July 1998 under questionable circumstances while being detained by Nigeria's military government at the time. He was accused of treason for declaring himself winner of the June 12, 1993 election, which was annulled by the then military head of state Ibrahim Babangida. That election is still described as the freest and fairest ever held in the country. It may be 19 years since he passed on. For this group of small crowd here at his residence, he still remains very much alive in their hearts. Not even the gloomy weather would stop their procession around the late politician's premises. Among the group, son of the late politician, Abdul Mumini Abiola. This has been the tradition for the past 19 years of MKO's passing.
Our gathering here today is to prove a point. And that point is that MKO Abiola died for our collective struggle. So it's our collective responsibility to always keep his memory alive. We are also demanding for the posthumous declaration of MKO Abiola as a past president, as a president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Taking turns to eulogize him, leaders from various groups in the country urge Nigerians to carry on their Abiola dream and unite for growth.
MKO should be immortalized. So it should be. But let us know it is not for the honor or personal benefit of MKO or his family. You need to immortalize that for the sake of pursuing rectitude, justice in politics in whatever level.
If you were allowed to govern, Nigeria most likely could have been turned around to become a nation. It was presumed that Nigeria economy was in tatter. He had the intellectual managerial ability to turn around the misfortune of Nigeria to fortune.
Abiola may be gone, but his impact continues to be felt across the country. In his honor, every June 12 is now a public holiday in a number of states in the country. But his supporters have continued to push for national honor to immortalize a man they all consider a martyr of democracy. Fidelia Aguncha, TV360. 3 suicide bombers were killed as they attempted to infiltrate the University of Maiduguri, Borno State, northeast Nigeria. This is the 7th time the bombers will be attacking the school. A security guard at the university said 2 of the bombers detonated their explosives inside the university while one was gunned down as he tried to escape. Boko Haram has stepped up attacks since May when 82 Chibok schoolgirls were swapped with Boko Haram commanders. Meanwhile, a lawmaker in Nigeria's House of Representatives has revealed that 19 students and staff of the University of Maiduguri were killed in separate attacks this year. In his motion, Mohammed Monguno urged the Nigerian government to deploy a team of security officials from all security agencies, including the Department of State Services, to protect the school. He is also opposing a proposed closure of the university. The motion was supported by members of the House. The lawmakers are asking security agencies, particularly the military, the police and the Department of State Services to submit a comprehensive plan of action to maintain constant security at the university. Acting President Yemi Osinbajo has ordered an immediate security beef-up in Calabar, southern Nigeria. The order comes days after 150 people were killed in a three-day war between both communities over a land dispute. According to the statement from his office, the acting president called on security agencies to address the security issues in that region in order to avert any further breakdown of law and order. He, however, assured Nigerians that the government is still committed to its goal to protect the lives and properties of every citizen in the country. The Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, has clarified his earlier statement on the raging controversies surrounding the continued stay of Ibrahim Magu as acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. In a statement, Malami said his comment on the power of the Senate to screen presidential nominees was never discussed at the Federal Executive Council meeting. Meanwhile, the presidency has insisted that Magu will remain in office. This was made known by Governor of Kaduna State Nasir El-Rufai, who represented acting President Yemi Osinbajo at the commissioning of the EFCC zonal office in the state. He described Magu as a nightmare for corrupt people. The rift between the Senate and the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, shows no sign of ending. The minister has beat back at Senator Danjuma Goje, who had demanded his resignation. He is warning that the issues raised on the 2017 budget must not be trivialized. Fashola and the lawmakers have traded accusations since late June, when he accused the National Assembly of unilaterally slashing budgetary allocations for key projects such as the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway and the Second Niger Bridge. The ECOWAS Network of Electoral Commissions, ECONEC, says it is working on measures to help reduce costs of elections in the West African sub-regions. Addressing journalists, ECONEC President Mahmoud Yakubu said the network would achieve the task by encouraging members of ECONEC to adopt electronic voting and the deployment of technology in the conduct of elections. Yakubu, who is the chairman of Nigeria's electoral body INEC, said some members of the 15 West African countries were already adopting e-voting and urged other countries to embrace modern technology in their polling.
We are interested in finding ways by which we can reduce the cost of election in the sub-region. Democracy is good, but the cost of running democracy is also very high. So one of the ways is first to explore the possibility of helping one another. And we have been doing so. Areas of mutual assistance include information and communication technology in the conduct of elections, so that more and more member countries will have the electronic voter register, and then the deployment of technology in the conduct of our elections, which will considerably reduce the cost of doing things manually. We shall be traveling to 2 countries. One is the Republic of Liberia. Liberia is conducting its general elections in October this year, specifically on the 10th of October. The second country we'll be visiting is the Republic of Sierra Leone. We shall also be visiting the Republic of Guinea-Bissau, which shall be holding its own parliamentary elections in March next year. The purpose of visiting these countries is to together determine their needs ahead of the elections, and how the rest of us, all the countries in the sub-region, not just one country, can come together and help these 2 republics, Liberia and Sierra Leone, to conduct credible elections.
Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode has charged traditional rulers in the state to ensure an end to the menace of ritual killings and kidnappings within their communities. Ambode says he is deeply concerned by the spate of kidnappings and the recent cases of killings perpetrated by a cult group known as Bado. The governor said there was intelligence report that their activities had the backings of some persons. He warned the traditional rulers that it was their responsibilities to speak up against such happenings within their vicinity. Zamfara State Governor Abdulaziz Yari has accused Ibrahim Magu, acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC), of intimidating governors for no just cause. Yari denied on EFCC allegations that parts of the Paris Club loan refund were diverted from the NGF's account on his instruction. The chairman of Nigeria Governors Forum also accused the commission of not tidying its work before going to court. Nigerians have been urged to key into the change agenda of President Muhammadu Buhari. This was the message delivered by various speakers at a book presentation titled Lucidity of Absurdity in Abuja, the nation's capital. The book, meanwhile, called for a change of mindset amongst Nigerians to improve the state of the nation.
The change agenda of this administration, we should do everything in our own little way to make Nigeria better. You had the little poem, the little girl, just said in 3 sentences, and it captures everything. Whatever office you are occupying, whatever you do as a leader, lead by example, exhibit the fear of God in everything you do. Nigeria is a great country. If we can all be sincere and faithful, and if we really love this country, we will do things right. What is missing, I think, is love.
More importantly, capturing the very essence of the facts out there in society, on the street, on daily lives out there, that represents or gives the picture of totality of what the Nigerian society is. And more importantly, very specifically, that it dwelled so much about the kind of injustice that the system has developed over time, talking about the very unfortunate tendencies of misguided leadership tendencies in this country, where opportunities are carried beyond limits, privileges are abused in public office, as well as even the private sector.
What has been happening in this country and in several other countries around the world is people that consider themselves poor on their privilege do not think that they can change the setting. But what I'm saying here is that you can change the setting. And if you think very well, you can get the solution, and you can proceed from the solution to acting, taking action, and then we can have a just society, which is very important for all of us. The change we are talking is the change in our mindset. Changing our mindset. We don't have to, we're not talking of just maybe changing political parties or changing elected representatives.
The Nigerian Bar Association has appealed to media houses and opinion leaders to exercise responsibility and professionalism in the content they publish or distribute through their platforms. Abubakar Mahmood, the NBA president, said in a statement that the constitutional right to free speech does not extend to hate speech. The NBA said it was deeply concerned at the recent heightened agitation by individuals, groups, and organizations calling for the breakup of the country. The federal government has completed the training of 774 extension workers in the use of modern technologies in delivering extension services in the agricultural sector of the economy under its Empower program. The exercise is part of the federal government agricultural development plan being executed by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. It resulted in the training of 774 extension personnel to work as master trainers for the 30,000 youths engaged under the Empower Agro program in the country.
The Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism, in partnership with the MacArthur Foundation, specially invite you to the Wole Soyinka Center Media Lecture Series. Theme: Light Up, Light In, interrogating the nexus between electricity and basic education in Nigeria. Date: Thursday, 13th July 2017. Venue: Shehu Musa Yar'Adua Center, 1 Memorial Drive, Central Business District, Abuja. Time: 10 a.m. Lead speakers: Anthony Aka, Acting Chairman, Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, and Hamid Bubuyi, Executive Secretary, Universal Basic Education Commission. Discussant, Edward Cullen, United Nations Humanitarian Coordinator, UNDP Resident Representative, Obiageli Ezekwesili, Senior Economic Advisor, African Economic Development Policy Initiative, Ime Okon, Project Manager, USAID Energy Power Africa Nigeria, Olabisi Obadofin, Professor of Counseling Psychology, Lagos State University, LASU. Bemiga Ogunleye, Provost, Nigeria Institute of Journalism. Moderator, Al-Kazim Abdul Kadri, Journalist and Director, Victim Support Fund. For inquiries, email wscij@wscij.org or call 0908-251-5179. Be there.
Welcome back. It's time for business with Thelma Okuru.
Thanks, Fidelia. Now 17 companies took a hit after they were suspended from the Nigerian Stock Exchange till further notice. Authorities say sanctions were imposed on the companies for failing to file their annual financial accounts and operational reports in line with the requirements of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Investors on the equities of the companies would not be able to trade or do any business with their stocks. The affected companies include African Alliance Insurance, Equity Assurance, Fortis Microfinance Bank, Guinea Insurance, Premier Paint, Resort Savings and Loans, Sovereign Trust Insurance, African Paints Nigeria, ASO Savings and Loans, EcoCo, Evans Medical, as well as Gold Link Insurance, Great Niger Insurance, Omatech Ventures, Union Deconsult, Union Home Savings and Loans, and Universal Insurance Company. The Naira is seen steady on the foreign exchange market in the coming days as the Central Bank of Nigeria continues to inject the United States dollar into the market to improve liquidity. CBN has also continued to tighten Naira liquidity to curb pressure on the local currency. The Naira was quoted at 365 to the dollar on the block market. It was also quoted by commercial banks at $306.20 on the interbank market against 305.5 per dollar last week. Oil prices fell more than 2% on Friday after data showed U.S. production rose last week. OPEC exports earlier hit a 2017 high, casting doubt over efforts by producers to curb oversupply. Brent futures stood at $47.10 per barrel, while U.S. crude futures traded at $44.53 per barrel. The rise in U.S. output coincides with exports from OPEC climbing for a second consecutive month in June to the highest level this year. That's all on business. Stay tuned as international and sports stories are up next.
Corruption not in my country. Mr. John! Mr. John! What is it now?
What is it now?
Please turn down the volume of your music. It's too loud.
And how is that your business?
It is disturbing me. I can't sleep.
And the same way you are disturbing my right to good music and where I enjoy it. Eh? What's wrong with you? Is there another person complaining?
Maybe we thought that you have lost your mind. Are you having a party?
I'm just respecting you, sir. You remember I've paid my husband too.
You will not understand why we are complaining because you do not care about other people except yourself. Look, the transformation we need in this country begins in this compound.
Yes, now.
From you and I. This your selfishness is an offshoot of corruption. And corruption not in my country.
You know, go to your bank. Go.
Corruption not in my country.
Glad to have you back. At least 10 Egyptian soldiers were killed and several injured when two suicide car bombers hit an army checkpoint in northern Sinai. Two cars exploded as they passed through checkpoints close to each other on a road outside the border city of Rafah. The army said late on Friday the attacks had killed and injured a total of 26 soldiers, but did not provide a breakdown of the figure. It said security forces had killed 40 militants and destroyed 6 of their vehicles following the attack. French police evicted thousands of migrants living on sidewalks in an area of northern Paris on Friday. The migrants were being escorted onto buses to be taken to temporary lodgings. Live TV footage showed what appeared to be a peaceful evacuation. Interior Minister Gerard Collomb said earlier this week the situation was getting out of hand with more than 400 arrivals a week in the area. Nigeria internationals took to social media to express their sympathy for goalkeeper Carl Ikeme, who has been diagnosed of acute leukemia. Wolves disclosed on their website that the Super Eagles coach had cancer in his bone marrow after a preseason testing. In reaction to the sad news, Super Eagles stars shared their heartfelt message to the 31-year-old who is expected to take a long absence from football. His club has also given him their full support, and the 31-year-old has already begun receiving medical treatment for the disease. Carl Ikeme made his Super Eagles debut against Tanzania in September 2015. Football's governing body FIFA has banned Sudan because of government interference in the sport. A warning was issued last month after the government installed a new FA president. The suspension means that Sudan's 3 clubs in continental tournament have been disqualified by the Confederation of African Football and the Champions League. Germany's World Cup winning captain Pierre Mertesacker has announced he will retire at the end of 2017-2018 season. The Arsenal captain will become the club's new academy manager after his retirement. The decisions were confirmed in a statement by the club, with the defender expressing delight at the prospect of his new role. But that's all on news now. Thanks for watching. I am Fidelia Aguncha.